friends. Today I am unboxing a new art supply, the Derwent Inktense blocks, which I've never used, and I'm really excited to try these out for you guys on camera. I'll be doing a swatching of the colors and just kind of a general voiceover to tell you guys a little bit about what has been going on with me and also my first impressions of these art supplies. It would mean a lot to me if you would go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel. I have got a lot of life/art/life imitating art content on my channel. I'm learning quite a bit, and I am just really here to share my journey with the world as best I can. So I do want to take a moment to appreciate the artwork on this packaging because it was created by a YouTuber called Lockery Fine Art. She is really awesome, and if you've never seen her work and you're interested in learning how to oil paint, acrylic paint, watercolor, use Inktense blocks, pretty much any kind of fine art you can think of, she is an excellent resource, and she actually has a video where she paints the art for this packaging, so it's kind of cool to just have that in my hands after seeing her video where she painted. You will have noticed at the beginning of this video that it is snowing. It was a random spring snow time here in the mountains of North Carolina. If you don't know, I recently moved here to the mountains and I'm still adjusting to the way that the weather is different here than it was back where I lived in the Piedmont of North Carolina in the capital city of Raleigh. So right now in Raleigh, it is full-blown spring, pollen everywhere, and here in the mountains, we have basically been dealing with 40 and 50 degree weather, and then randomly it dipped into the 30s, and all day it was snowing on and off, and it was maybe the weirdest weather, especially the weirdest snow weather I've ever encountered. And but it was fun to create that little intro for this video. So the reason that I decided to try out Inktense was because a few years ago, actually, I went to Arizona and I was trying to find a way to have some ink with me on the plane, and I had heard about these Inktense, which can be drawn with or used as like a water soluble medium. And so I bought a single stick of it to bring with me on the plane, and I actually never used it for years and years and years. I didn't use it. I just had it in this little bag, and it just sat in there. I don't know why I didn't use it. I guess I just put it in my, so yeah, there's the bag. I put it in my pencil case and just kind of forgot about it. And recently, my husband and I were just trying to get our creative juices flowing, and I found it and I used it, and I really enjoyed it. And now that I'm in the mountains, I am starting to do more hiking and that kind of thing, and I was thinking about trying to find a nice compact way to carry art supplies with me, and I was thinking maybe Inktense would be a really convenient and minimal way to have art supplies with me when I'm hiking. So I could maybe pick out a limited palette, like just a couple of blocks, and I can draw with them and wet the drawings to create a wash, or I could use them like watercolors and just paint with them, with the added benefit that once they have been wet and dry, supposedly they do not, they become permanent at that point. So I won't be using all of these like at once, at least not initially. Like my main purpose of buying these is to use as a minimal, like almost like a charcoal drawing set that I can also do washes with. So here I am just swatching all of the colors. There's 24 of them. I was able to get it on sale for half off on Amazon.com. And yeah, I was just going to get the 12 set, but because they were on sale, I got the bigger set. They're not cheap. This 24 set was $45 and it was almost half off. So, um, but as you can see, the colors are really vibrant. Um, I'm using Bristol paper to do this swatch, so they aren't exactly the smoothest. Um, and I don't know what that's gonna look like on more absorbent paper or maybe even hot pressed watercolor paper. Later on in this video, I will be doing a quick little practice sketch with them using my Etcher Lab sketchbook, which is more of a cold pressed paper. So, yeah, that is that so far. I think for the rest of this watching, I'm gonna add some music in and let you enjoy that. And I'll come back once I get to the sketching portion of this video. As I'm watching this, I'm realizing that I didn't really explain what I'm doing with my swatches here. So I just put down a layer of color by drawing, and then I used a wet paintbrush to wet that and spread it across the page. And then that last swatch I'm doing is where I am putting water on my paintbrush and applying that directly to the block to create almost like a watercolor effect. Here I am going over some of the dried paint to see if it would reactivate, and you can actually see that it does. I didn't do this for every color, so I don't know if some of them are more permanent than others, but one of the advertised features of Inktense is that they're permanent once they have dried, so that's something to consider for sure. So now that we have wrapped up that swatching, I'm just doing a little bit of a photo shoot there. And now we are moving on to the sketchbook portion of this unboxing. That was my cat Grayling. She is a little butthead, but I love her. And yeah, so this is my Etcher Lab sketchbook. I've only used it a few times. You'll see when I open it up that it's got some watercolor swatches in it. And I get the feeling that this little one is going to end up being a swatching notebook. I have a couple of bigger ones that my husband got me for Christmas. Um, and I wasn't really expecting to get around to using them because I have so many other sketchbooks, but because this one was small, I reached for it. So anyway, that's kind of beside the point. Um, for this sketch, I am going to pick out a few colors. So it's going to be a limited palette here of browns and whites. And basically, the reason I chose those colors is because I have this image in my head of doing like a week long backpacking trip where I am stopping to do quick sketches with the inktense and not thinking, not wanting to worry too much about color. So just having this limited palette. And here I am using a few different methods to apply the pigment onto the painting. And then I am bringing my wet brush in to spread that pigment out with water. Very, very similar to water mixable or water soluble colored pencils, which I don't see people use those very often on YouTube. I think the Mind of Watercolor has been known to use them here and there, and also Hello Alice uses them quite a lot. But aside from them, I really haven't seen people use water mixable colored pencils very often, but these are very reminiscent of that. And if you hear some weird scratchings and things in the background, those are my cats being ridiculous, and I just don't feel like doing this in the bathroom. Anyway, so I've applied some more pigment. You saw me there using the white, which was a little disappointing, and I thought it would be more pigmented than it was. And then here I'm putting more pigment down, and you can see that it really saturated, and that's partially because the paper was still damp when I put it down, and that was like a really cool discovery to see how that happened. And now I'm going back into the sky, and I'm really pressing hard with the white to get it to blend out some of those marks that I made in the sky. So some of what I'm learning by doing this drawing is kind of what not to do or what I don't like. It's not exactly the Mona Lisa or anything. So that does about wrap up this footage for this video. I overall really like these supplies. I'm really excited to see what I can do with them in the future. And yeah, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comment section below. I've really enjoyed making this video for you guys, and there will definitely be more like it in the future. I hope you have a ridiculously wonderful day filled with art making or whatever kind of creativity that you like to do. And I will move on to some footage of me driving around in the mountains in the snow. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye.